That was the biggest mistake of my life.
You have to fail to get to that point.
If I don't cook professionally anymore, I'm not legit. Holy are you kidding me? It was like, I was like, $1,000 a week. We're gonna go bankrupt, right? Like, we can never afford this. Yes, that's exactly it. Oh my God, I love it. You be by the door and you go fix aprons.
What's good, crew? Daniel here, and this is Dine Grind, the show that plates up kitchen grit with entrepreneurial hustle. Quick shout out before we fire up the convo. Years ago, I wiped out on a slick kitchen floor and I paid for it in medical bills and pain. So I teamed up with a top orthopedic surgeon and my best friend and restaurateur Hike, and we created Snibs. Snibs is for hardworking professionals who are on their feet. And today I am so excited because I have a longtime friend.
Very long time.
Ellen Bennett. She is a superstar. I think a powerhouse. I don't know, we could use a lot of these fun words, but you are truly a gem. You started as a line cook. Well, let's just talk about career. Started as a line cook with a need for aprons.
Yeah.
Realized that there's a huge market for it. I met you very early in this process. Started a brand that I think took the culinary world by storm. Like everybody was wearing the ampersands. You wrote an amazing book. You have your own series. I mean, is there anything you don't do? You're a mom of 2 really cute little kiddos. Your husband's amazing. I mean, I'm in awe of you because it's been so long that I've known you and I've seen you mature and I think you've seen me mature. And we've been running parallel lives in a lot of ways.
Totally.
But I think when we're together, it's magnetic. And so I'm beyond excited to have you here. I think people are going to really love your story. I think it's really beautiful. I'm hoping to learn some new fun things as well. And the show's all about the grit of the industry. And I think you carry it well.
No, thank you. And we've known each other for a long ass time. Like 12 years?
12 years. Yeah, I was looking at Easter.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, so let's talk about when we first met, because this is my favorite story and I can't stop sharing it. So, all right, it's what year? 2015?
It was like 2013.
2013?
Yes, it was back then.
It's back then. So it's 2013.
Yeah.
And my buddy, Jason, who I'd started the lime truck with, calls me and he's like, hey, you're opening your restaurant in downtown. You have to call Ellen and get these aprons. And I was like, what's so special about these aprons? He's like, bro, just go get the aprons, okay? So I DM you and I'm like, hey, I really want 5 aprons for the opening of my restaurant. You're like, cool, I'm at 1029 South Broadway or 950 South Broadway. And I'm like, wait, I'm at 849 South Broadway. How is this possible? And so I look out my window and like,
I'm like in another window, practically like, hi, come on over.
And so I come over and I start talking to you. I meet you in that little tiny, like little room.
Oh my gosh.
I think you had an employee already.
Yeah, it was like 600 square feet with 1 employee or something.
It was, and you were making these really cool aprons. Were you making them at the time? Or you always had someone producing?
No, we always had sewers like either in the building or down the street.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you gave me my first 5 aprons. I remember one was light blue, one was gray, I think black.
Good memory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are very cool. But I remember at the time I was like, man, I feel so slick right now. And my favorite part of the story is, so we didn't know each other at the time. And I'm like, okay, so I'll pay cash. And like, I'm getting 5 from you here. Like, I should be able to get a discount, right? And you're like, nope, that'll be $600 or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. I like your style. And
you're like, respect.
I did. And I think you got to know your worth, which I think you have a very good skill set to do. And I mean, it was at the very early stages. And I think you just quit Providence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And
wow.
So, and
oh my God,
that
what
was
a
the
throwback.
blossom.
If we only knew what was in our future. Holy God. I don't know if we would have
we would have believed it or done it again. I would have.
As we sit here with like kids and gray hairs and all the things and life seasoned on our soul.
I know, all those things. And now you're back in culinary school.
I know.
I
literally was thinking that as I'm like sitting here in my jacket from school. I know, it's full circle.
It's full circle.
Hey, but like hindsight is 2020 is so real. There are so many things that I'm learning in school and that I'm grateful for being a student again and not being in charge that I didn't even know that I wanted. And here I am enjoying the shit out of it.
I love it. All right, well, let's go back. So you have both a LA heritage and a Mexico City heritage.
That's right.
Okay. And your mom's here.
Mm-hmm.
Papa's back in Mexico City?
No, my dad lives in Texas. My mom lives here with me. And I'm half English, half Mexican.
Yeah.
So I grew up with both of these crazy cultures like jammed together.
Okay. And walk me through like I've never asked you this actually, which is pretty cool. So young Ellen, is young Ellen as spicy as she always has been? Like, were you always going to be this, like, I mean, is this entrepreneurial thing always been in you? Or was like, I'm wondering when you went from like passion to entrepreneurship and like kind of how did that transition happen?
I think I've always been someone that walks to the beat of my own drum. And if everyone is doing this over here, I'm like, ooh, what's that over there? So when I was young and, all these kids in LA, they wanted to be actors and I was surrounded by that. And I was like, I don't want to be an actor. I want to cook. And I was in the kitchen at my friends' houses, like asking their grandma and their mom what they were making and how they were making while everyone was over here, like watching MTV Cribs, like not the vibe that I wanted. And that was weird. I was weird for doing that. I was not like the standard kid at the mall. Also, my mom raised us as like just a mom. My dad was not around. And so there was this like little bit of like latchkey kid vibe where she didn't let me go out and hang out with other kids on the weekends. I was like always at home with my sister, which was a gift, in fact, because I ended up getting all these responsibilities that a normal random 12-year-old would not be like, oh, let me do my mother's bills because I have nothing else to do and I'm bored out of my mind and there's a stack right there. And I just learned that in school. How about I just like start writing the checks like they showed me in math class? And so I just started doing all these like funny, weird things that was weird for my age, but in life, it just kind of accelerated me into entrepreneurship without knowing it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm an entrepreneur. I was just like, oh, I'm bored and I'm at home and I have nothing else to do and that's there. And my mom was like, do whatever you want to spend the day. And so I would go to Home Depot and like buy cans of paint and paint my mom's house to change the color and the vibe. And she would be totally okay with it. Wow. So I was just like given a lot of leash in a funny way in a constrained environment. And it made me really explode and get creative. And I think about my life now as a business owner, and it's kind of the same thing, right? You have constraints and you have restraints financially, employee-wise. Like you can't have every employee you need. You can't have all the money in the world. And you have to figure shit out with limited resources. So this was like a breeding ground. My whole youth was me just learning how to make a lot out of very little and be creative in a very small space. So when I went out into the world, it was just like, oh, wow, there's this whole world. I have so much reach. I can do so much with a lot less than most people.
That's for sure. And I mean, that's a testament to building as big of a company as you did on with your own hands. I mean, really, I know that you didn't really start to bring people in until the brand was already established, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, we bootstrapped it for 10 years.
10 years. Epic. Okay, so
hard.
Wait, hold on. But I'm wondering, so I definitely know that you definitely moved to the beat of your own drum, that's for sure. But I guess like what's so interesting is you went into the culinary world in the hardest environment. To say it's not the hardest environment, yes, you could be like in France in some crazy kitchen, but you went to arguably one of the best restaurants in Los Angeles and you worked on the line, and that's like constraint city, is it not?
For sure. But also, we're talking about Providence, which is amazing and incredible. But maybe what you don't know is that I also worked half-time at another restaurant. So I worked at Baco Mercat and Providence. So it was like this amazing...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was this amazing combination of, in one restaurant, I was allowed to do so much. Grill and fish and touch all the shit. And then at Providence, it was like tweezers and picking herbs for hours and shucking oysters and like delicate things. And it was a lot more precise and small and refined. And it was all about attention to detail. And the other one was scale. So I had this like combo of speed and detail like through my whole experience, which was awesome because I got to see the whole kitchen simultaneously.
So you didn't feel in that environment like you felt like you were still stretching your wings because it was like, okay, got it.
It was amazing. Like I think most people are either in fine dining or fast casual, large scale. And so to have gotten to do both, it takes a special nut like myself to enjoy that environment, but I loved it because I had context. It's kind of like me growing up with a Mexican and English background. Because I grew up having tea and a Great Dane and then tacos and like running around the streets of Mexico barefoot, I had context. So I was like, oh, that's super cool, but that's different from what I have over here. And I felt that in the kitchen environment too. I appreciated the speed I was learning in one place, and I brought that speed to the small actions I was doing at Providence. And then Providence was like, oh, wow, this girl like moves, but I was learning to move in the other kitchen.
I see.
In a different setting.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was super great for me.
It's kind of all like a boot camp too for like.
It was a full boot camp. Yeah, it was a total boot camp. Also, Providence hired me after the other place hired me, and they were like, how fast can you quit your other job? And I was like, I can't quit my other job, so you can hire me part of the week. So I ended up like, that's how I ended up being at like 2 spots at the same time. But I loved it. I have so much respect and love and admiration for Simarusti and for Joseph from Baco, because both of them are so different and they both care so much about food.
And they both, I was gonna say, they're commonality
just like
is amazing.
Savants
food,
in their own way.
Yeah. I mean, he really was a pioneer in downtown and just really
100%. And in
great.
like vegetables, and he has a Michelin star restaurant that people don't really talk about, but Orson Winston is a Michelin star restaurant. And then obviously Providence is like the epitome of epicness in fish.
So you're working on the line, and walk me through the moment where the light bulb went off.
Well, I had a lot of little moments. There were many, many light bulbs in my life, right? It was like me moving to Mexico City and being there for 4 years, getting my way through culinary school, finding my life sea legs, and kind of realizing that if I decided I wanted to do something, I could actually carry through the actions and get to the other side alive. And I was like, okay, cool. And in my book that I wrote, I call them like notches on your confidence belt. So you just have like life and you have all these notches, and some of them are storms that you survived, and others are like amazing things that you did. And then others are just like, okay, I was able to run 5 miles. And you're like, cool, I can do something. Maybe I can run 10 miles because you run the 5. Everything has to be major to be able to do something great in life, right? So I had all these like little confidence belt notches. And then one day at Providence, actually at Baco, the chef said, hey, some chick's gonna make us aprons. Do you want to buy one? And this was the moment that I blurted out the words that like manifested Hedley and Bennett into existence. I was like, I have an apron company. I will make you those aprons. What's she charging? How much?
Did you
and how
really
fast?
say that in
I
the moment?
literally did.
Yeah, that is so epic.
So me too. I'm just like dream first, details later. I didn't have sewers. I didn't have business plan. I had nothing other than like the knowingness that I wanted to do this, and this was the opportunity. I was like, fuck it, let's go. So that happened, and I was like, oh my God, he said yes. So he was just like, okay, 40 aprons. How fast can you do? I'm like, a month. I'm like saying these numbers that I have no idea what the hell I'm
seems
talking
right.
about.
Yeah, I can make that happen.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I think we can do a month.
Yeah.
And then that kicked it off, which was crazy. So that was in like June of 2012. And I did deliver the first aprons within the month, which was miraculous and like neck-breaking hard.
I mean, you're working 2 jobs on the side too.
Oh, I also was a personal chef in the mornings. You don't even know. The hustles were so real. I'm like, if Uber existed at that time, I would have been Ubering too.
Well, I'll Uber you on my way to work. You're going right to Hollywood, right?
Before that moment when I blurted out, I have this company, there were all these little moments in the restaurant where I was like, Jesus, everybody looks horrible. We are getting our ass kicked, but we're also like athletes. I would see at the end of the night, right? At the beginning, it's like, rah, rah, here we go. We're going into battle. You know the vibes. And then at the end, you're just like, everyone's sitting in the parking lot smoking a cigarette. They just got like hit by a fucking train. And you're just exhausted. And you're like, oh, we did it. We made it. Like feeling very much like we got our ass kicked. And it felt like this athletic energy of you went into a game and then you won or you lost. And then the next day you get up and do it again. And I loved that feeling. And I felt like we were lacking confidence and we were lacking the fearlessness of like confidence. And when you have something that makes you look great, you're like, fuck yeah, I can do this. So I thought if I can bring that to the kitchen, I could maybe change this industry.
Wow. And you know what's so funny is that I've felt that emotional feeling that you're sharing. It's so clear. Like there's a moment for me when the apron is being tied around the back before it gets to the front, where I'm like, oh, I'm in my transition to professionalism. And so I never knew that was so intentional, but it's beyond it's like totally that visceral feeling. Yeah.
It's like a ritual of, I'm entering this
That is so cool. Woo, I love that. Okay, I'm energized by that.
No, and I really meant it. And I was like, I am not an apron company. I am selling confidence. I want people to feel amazing, whether they're executive chef or the line cook or the dishwasher. Like, you put a Hedley Bennett apron on and you're like, I can do this. And I was just a line cook. It's not like I was the executive chef. So I wanted that feeling just as much as I wanted it for all these people around me. And that's where it began. And I feel like I've been chasing that feeling ever since, of like, when I see another cook put that apron on today, it feels just as special as 13 years ago. Because I know how hard that person had to work to pay for that apron. And I know how much effort went into making that apron for that person. So it's like this kind of tribe, if you will, of people that care about these things.
Wow. I mean, the tenacity to just put yourself out there, I think a lot of people would be like, even if they wanted it, they wouldn't speak up. If they were to speak up, they would sound not as confident. It would be like almost where you're like, oh, I'm not going to trust you making those 40 aprons. But he probably was like, oh, you've been making aprons this whole time on the side, like the way you come out the gate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like I have a lot of war wounds from life because I do just leap out the window. But I feel like in the time I leap out the window and make 20 mistakes, other people are just deciding, should I just do one? I'm like, just leap. And then you bleed and you cry and it's horrible. And then you get up and you try again.
But you're further along every time you do that.
Exactly.
I know. And then versus the paralysis.
And you get up and you're like, oh, I just learned so much and now I can go that much further.
Yeah, totally.
So you are ahead by making the 20 mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, you hope with wisdom that you make less of those mistakes. But the truth is that if you're going
They're just
for
different mistakes.
Well, and if you're going for, like I always think about this when it comes to like, I try to control my triggers in the sense where I'm like, oh, if that triggered me, next time I'm going to try to process it better. But then the triggers get more subtle and they get more subtle. And it's like the challenge is, if your goals are to get really big, are going to just keep being more like kind of difficult, and you have to fail to get to that point.
I remember there was somebody that we found who was like a really great consultant, and we hired him for, it was like $1,000 a week. And I felt like I was selling my soul to pay this guy. I was like, $1,000 a week? We're going to go bankrupt, right? Like, we can never afford this. And we hired him for like 2 months, and then it no longer worked out in the end. And I just remember being like, that was the biggest mistake of my life, letting this guy go. And how are we going to do this? How are we going to survive without him? And now I look at the challenges that we deal with as a company, like tariffs, infrastructure, supply chain. And I'm just like, oh my God, that was such a small problem that felt Herculean, overwhelming, like the world was going to end. And then I was just able to push through it. And now we can deal with so much bigger problems.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, your ability to manage these problems. I mean, to your point, your tolerance
and
is
your
just
learning and all of the above.
I know. Right now, I'm like, the business is so simple now. It's like you want to make a change on one website, you got to notify all these things, these people, the software. You're like, it's like not an easy thing. Luckily, I don't think either of us are the ones who are going to have to change all those things, because that's not my forte.
You're going to be like, luckily, there's Shopify who's sponsoring this episode. Call us.
What was the moment where you felt comfortable enough to leave cooking to be able to go into this full time?
That was a really scary moment for me, where I felt like, if I don't cook professionally anymore, I'm not legit. And so it took me a few months of just getting over my own, my own personal like conversation I was having in my head of like, you can't do this if you're not working at Providence. And it really came down to, I had so many orders and I had so many customers, and I was simultaneously working. I had just quit Baco because I like couldn't handle both jobs. I was still working like part-time at Providence, and I was working every hour of every day of the week, and I had a farmer's market booth on Sundays. So I was working 7 days a week and had a booth at the farmer's market that I would do from 6 a.m. to 3 and then clock into Providence at 3:30. Like, it was lunatical.
That is so.
And I finally was just like, you got to cut something. And so I walked into Simarusti's office and I was just like, chef, it's time. I gotta do this. I gotta like fly the coop. And he was like, you got this, go. By then, everybody at Providence that was a sous chef and an executive chef was wearing Hedley Bennett. I was not allowed to yet because I was just the line cook.
You couldn't wear your own product.
I couldn't wear my own product. It's really ironic.
That's hilarious.
It's fine because now at Providence, every single person wears Hedley Bennett, of course. But yeah, he was just like, vaya con Dios.
Yeah, there you go.
You got this, girl, go do it. And then I left, and literally I remember it went from like this to this because I put all of my energy, and I have a lot of energy. So it was like right into Hedley and Bennett.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's why
it was terrifying.
That's probably why I was getting the
terrifying.
call at like 10 p.m. where you're like, I'm finishing work. You want to go hang out? And I'm like, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yep. We had some good hangs.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, and so that moment felt like the biggest deep dive, but it was totally worth the payoff.
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah. And that is, you're ripping the Band-Aid of fear and just being like, I'm going to do this. And I needed to do it. And if I look at our journey, every single time we've made a huge leap like that, like, yes, some of them have been mistakes, but it always got us forward. Like, it took us from here to here. It wasn't like, dee, dee, dee. My jump from Providence to not working there was like a monumental leap on the staircase of the journey.
Big time.
Yeah.
And then let's fast forward a tiny bit, but now I don't know. I mean, I'm watching this whole thing unfold and I'm seeing Nobu, I'm seeing Bayless, I'm seeing every chef that I've ever loved in my whole entire life. And they're all either in a photo with you or wearing your apron. You're on TV on all the most important TV shows. And I know you well enough because it's like, nobody is like, oh, Ellen's PR girl sent this to me or this is how we got it. It was literally like, you're there with the apron and you're like, yeah, put it on. Exactly. And
run to the next event.
And it's like, I mean, was there a moment where you were like, pinch me? Because I know your hustle and it's like, there are some moments and I know you're probably not the kind of person who celebrates wins too often because your ambition is so high, but were you having moments where you're like, I can't believe I got to do today? And like, share a story.
Oh, it's such
brag a moment, you know?
I definitely deeply feel what you just said of like, I don't celebrate moments.
I know.
Because I run really hard a lot. But there are moments in the journey where I'd be like in the middle of nowhere in San Francisco or something, or like Mill Valley, somewhere random, right? That's not like Chicago.
Sure.
And I'd walk into a coffee shop. Actually, I was in Jackson Hole.
Okay.
And I walked into just a cute little coffee shop and they were all wearing Hedley and Bennett. And I was just like, wait, we're just here. They don't know we're coming. I don't know them. And they are wearing Hedley and Bennett. And that was really special because it was in the middle of nowhere. I was there. I got engaged on that trip. And I was just like, wow, here I have the love of my life. And I'm building this thing with my bare fucking hands. And I'm seeing it in action out in the wild. And I don't think there's anything as special as like spotting the aprons in restaurants and on cooks and on servers. And then when you ask them like, hey, what do you think of they're like, oh my God, the best uniform I've ever had. I love it. It's so comfortable. Oh, the straps are so good. And I'm just like, thank you. And then I'm like, oh, I'm the founder. And they're like, shut up. And then we have this connection and it's just like, okay, there's another member of the tribe of people that care about the details, that care about where it comes from, that believe in something better than just a shitty white apron. And you might say like, okay, calm down, lady, you're talking about aprons, but it's like so much more when this is your uniform every single day. It is your game day jersey. Yeah. And that better be on point because you got to work your ass off every day. Why not have some self-respect for you know?
Big time. Yeah. And also those other aprons suck. Like we all know that.
Really
like they
do.
really suck. Like it's night and day. And it's like, I think, it's like, as I'm hearing you say it, like the most exciting moment for me was when I met like one of my favorite servers and I looked down and he's wearing snivs. And it's like, I think it's just that similar vibe where it's like, and also, I don't know I know you noticed this, but it's like the people who are wearing Hedley and Bennett, they're so proud of like what they're doing. It's not somebody who's like, hey, I'm just clocking in for the day because I need to make like $6, you know, before I go do something else. But it's like, this person is like, no, I'm here as a professional. Like I'm in hospitality or I'm doing something for others. And it's like, it's a very special environment.
Yeah, there's a sense of pride.
If I can remember your timelines correctly, you got engaged in 17, 16?
Yeah, 17.
So it took
16.
16. So it took 4 years for you to get your first pinch me moment. And by the way, there's so much press in between then and then. Like, so for you to, I'm kind of like blown away.
Okay, there's another big moment. I went to an event by Martha Stewart's team, and they were like, we want to have a meeting with you in a side room. And we were like, what? Okay. I was there as a guest for this event that she was throwing. And they pull me into this room and they were like, Martha wants you to outfit all of her cafes in Macy's across the entire country. And we were like, holy are you kidding me? And right then and there, we like talked about the design, and it was her right-hand guy, Thomas, who's like still in her videos today. If you watch her on social media, freaking Thomas is in the video. Thomas was in that room, and Thomas was like, she wants this, she wants it in this, let's make it happen. What do you need from us? And I was like, oh my God. So that was a major pinch me moment. Also, Alton Brown reached out to us, and he was our first major collab with like a person. And Alton is such a, I think in the world of food, like he's such a perfect example of what Hedley Bennett kind of is, because he's like chef by trade, but also a deep food nerd and cares about quality and details and the why behind stuff, but also is kind of like a beloved home cook too.
Yeah.
So he, to me, was like
the perfect person.
Yeah. The like all the circles line up and like Alton is right there in the middle. So that was very special too, that he gave a about who we were. And he came to our office, by the way, that little tiny one. I brought in friends that were not even our employees to make it look like I had more employees. I was like, okay, you stand at the, you sit at the desk, you be by the door, and you go fix aprons.
Oh my God, it comes in well. Things are really bustling like, over here.
Wow, it's a real strong operation here. I was like, thanks, Alton. Yeah, we're really legit over in Hedley Bennett land.
Did you used to watch Good Eats? I mean, that was like the show that
it was
amazing. That was like the best.
It was OG.
That and The F Word were the two favorite cooking shows growing up.
They were so good.
They were so good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
So walk me through, like, there's this exciting moment, things are growing. We know no business line is ever like this. And so what was the first, you know, you're riding all these highs, and like, what was the first moment where you were like, oh, I've kind of gone a little too fast here? Because immense scale when it's really you and maybe just a few others in your bootstrapping is like, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like, it's a great thing, but it's also kind of difficult to manage and run. And so I think I would love to know, like, what was that first moment where you were like, oh, maybe we took a step too far, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah. So first of all, we were not building infrastructure behind the scenes while running. So it was like all this energy being poured into community and into our brand and into our quality and our product. So it was like, that was a non-starter. We were not going to cut corners on the quality of the product, but we weren't spending time like making sure that there was a perfect P&L and that our accounting was on point, right? So there were little tiny really important things that were very, let's call it, if you split the company into art and science, they were very art, not science. And I needed more of the infrastructure, but it was only me. So I was putting all my energy into the thing that I knew I could control and handle. And that was social media and business development and the community and showing up and delivering the product. And when the fan, talking to the customer and making it right for them. So it was very much like firefighting constantly. And overall, the business continued to grow, but like the footing was not as strong as it needed to be. So I had to then, you know, a few years in, kind of work backwards to put in the enough accounting and do all this stuff that's like not sexy, but it's really freaking important to be able to grow a business, or else you're like growing like a one-legged flamingo.
Yeah, it's foundational.
It's foundational and I didn't have the people, I didn't have the resources, and I thought I had to hire everyone full time. And, you know, hindsight is 20/20, but like if I could do it again, I would have outsourced a lot to agencies. I would have done like, you know, partial CMOs, partial CFOs, and there's so many resources, even like customer service. There's amazing companies out there that you can hire part-time or they're not your employee, and then they can execute for you in an excellent way. So just getting more creative and resourceful would have helped.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine when you're growing that fast and you're doing everything, it's just, when I started the Lime Truck, like our first year we did like peanuts. We did, $400,000. The next year we win that
by
Food
the way,
Network show.
from 0 to 400 is a lot.
It's a lot.
And really hard.
Yes.
When you have no infrastructure.
Well, when you have no infrastructure and you're also
it's
working.
Like twice as hard.
And that was the same feeling. Was we were working from 8 a.m. on the truck till 9 at night. I'd come home and I would do whatever version of accounting, which I swear to God was like a pencil and paper 100%. At the time. And I did the same thing. And it's like the next year we went to 2 million.
Which is really hard.
Which is really hard. But there was no proper book system. I didn't know if we were profiting. And then later when I did the books, I realized we didn't really make money when I grew that fast, because it's almost impossible to make money when you grow that fast. Yeah. And it was like one of those things where I was like, oh my God, had I just been like a little bit more sophisticated, I would have made so much money that year, because it's a food truck. And and I think it's a little
bit of like looking back, I'm like, gosh, if I had just slowed down in certain places and gotten a couple of things right, I could have sped up.
You could have sped up.
Sometimes you got to slow down just a little to get it right and build the thing and then go.
That's good advice. And I think the thing that, I don't know if you have this or not, but I didn't really have any mentors when I started.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no peer groups, no mentors. And as soon as I started building that infrastructure, and I remember I came to your office once and you had this really awesome female founder,
Jenny. Yeah.
And she was like, and at that point, obviously I had been running for like 7 years. So I was a much different place than when I started. But I was like, man, like she would have been like an amazing resource. And I think, but again, you met her, after you had kind of built the company. And also it's hard to let someone really into the transparency. Like you can tell people all the good stuff, but I don't know, at least for myself, like, if someone asks about my business, I'm not going like, oh man, like, I didn't do the P&L right and the balance sheet isn't balanced correctly. You're going to be like, oh, these are the good things. This is some challenges.
Maybe embarrassing is the right word, or embarrassed. I don't know. It's like you feel a little nervous to say, I don't totally know what I'm doing here. But I feel like that wasn't even my issue. I was very excited to get people to help.
You were.
I just didn't have enough time. It's like, it was the allocation of time and the prioritization. I felt like all my energy was going to brand and product and community. And so that was 26 hours a day. So where the hell was I going to do the rest of it? And I needed to have reprioritized some of that energy.
I mean, but I would argue and say it's great that you did it.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what would have happened if you didn't do all of those things, right? Like you built a huge business off of the back of that brand. And like, that was the same thing for me. Like Lime Truck didn't do well in those first few years, even though we were growing and serving hundreds and thousands of people. But like I built a brand that I still have 15 years later. And, and you're on your 12th year, 13th year?
13th year.
Yeah. So it's like, that's not, maybe it is like that,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like
totally.
Maybe that's just how it has to be. And I mean, and now that we've learned, it doesn't have to be that way. But for what it was.
No, but you're right. There's like, you break shit and you grow and you evolve and, here we are. And you can look back and poke holes at all the things that we did wrong. But I think a lot from a soulful place was built there. Like you can't buy love. And I believe that we created a beautiful community that believes in what we believe. And that is like irreplaceable. You can hire somebody to do a P&L. You can't hire somebody to build love for you.
That's definitely true. And what do you think was that, like, what was that gift that you had to build so much affinity towards the brand?
I think that early on, I was really eager to hear what people had to say and what they needed. And I kind of dumb it down to like, what do you need and want? And I was very capable of listening to people's needs and wants. And so when a chef would be like complaining about 50 things, I could distill that down and be like, okay, he doesn't like the pockets, he doesn't like the straps, the colors are wrong, and he wants really high quality fabric. Okay, cool. All right, I can do something with that. And then I would take it and turn it into something and be like, is this what you're thinking? And he's like, yes, that's exactly it. Oh my God, I love it. So it was like we were creating a dish together, but it was an apron. And so this collaborative energy made them kind of become a piece of the business. It's like they were like folded into the DNA of the company. It wasn't just like, I'm over here and you're over here and I'm going to give this to you. I also treated no one like a transaction. I was like, oh my God, you're going to make something, I'm going to make something for you, and you're going to be here and you're going to be my friend first and foremost. And by the way, I'm getting you this product that you need. Yeah. So it was like friend first, then we get them something they need. And that was very powerful.
Yeah, and I imagine because you're the one who's out there, you know, talking to everyone and you're doing it, but you also have the humility to be like, yeah, let's collaborate. I didn't make the best apron to begin with. So is that how we got the crossback? That's how we got the larger aprons. That's how we got the half. That's how we probably got a lot.
That's how we got smocks. That's how we got knives, kitchen tools, like all these things
Which,
came
by
about.
the way, okay, so real talk. So when we lost our house, Ellen's mom lost her house, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But the coolest thing was I didn't have any of I've had your aprons forever. I had your chef knife bag or your chef roll. Every time you make a new product, I always wanted it. So, but like I didn't get the kitchen tools. They're so fucking good.
They're so
there is a thick spatula with like a little bit of like a dip spoon and the ladle. Those two are like things that I would tell anyone, like if you don't have it in your kitchen, like you need that thing right now because it's like really a game changer. Yeah. And so, but I mean, I imagine you don't just stumble upon great, especially kitchen utensils. Like, and I think we both have to struggle with this, which is like we make products for people who are going to use the out of them. Like literally, they cannot use your product any more than like and I use that ladle every day, right? Or not the ladle. I use the spatula. Yeah, I use the spatula every day. So if that thing, you know, is not good or over time, or I've washed it like a bazillion times, like I would know.
It's gonna fall apart.
Yeah, my apron's been through hell and back with me. I actually wore my apron at Burning Man, but I mean, it's a new apron. So, but I've until I lost my house, I had the same aprons for 10 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that story is repeated again and again. People are like, I bought my first apron for me at the farmer's market 13 years ago. I think that that's very special as the founder. I'm like, I love that quality leads the charge. Totally. Because people can be like, oh, I don't like your product or whatever. But when they realize that that's the product that lasts the longest, they're like, okay, maybe I should try this. And then they realize they want it. And then they get on the bandwagon.
Yeah. So, and I think that's part of the evolution of high quality product, right? It's like, you know, you have an industry.
It's playing the long game.
It's playing the long game.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think we have a very challenging consumer. I know right now we share maybe less of a consumer than we did when we started, but at the same time, it's like that consumer is, people in the kitchen are like some of the toughest critics I've ever met in my whole entire life.
So imagine 10 years of being told what's wrong and what's right. You're going to hone it or lose it. One of the two.
Fair enough. Yeah. And you wonder why there aren't so many brands that go after these industries, but the ones who do, they do a good job.
Yeah. I'm like, if someone takes market share, I'm like, congratulations. Well earned, because it's not easy.
Yeah, for sure. And so walk me through, how did you keep the soul alive because that's I would say probably one of the hardest things in business, right? Is when I remember from my own story, like when we went from 1 to 4 trucks and we did it quickly, you know, the number one feedback I got was, oh, it's not the same because you're not on every truck anymore. And it's this and it's that. And you're like, well, you know, I'm here to build a business. Like I care about every consumer in every moment, but at the same time, like this is something that I need to build so that I'm not a slave to the job, right?
Totally.
And so like, how did you expand so much and also still keep the core of who you guys are?
Yeah. Well, like in a lot of ways, the first 9 years, we were just dedicated to restaurants. So we really went deep and hard for long enough that we had it down to a science. Like we really understood how to outfit restaurants, what they needed, what they wanted. And then COVID was a huge driver for efficiency, because I was very willing, as a bootstrapped founder, I'm like, okay, I see blood in the water. We got to cut costs. We got to make adjustments. Like I'm going to be the first to adjust and change and pivot, because I know what it feels like to not have money to pay payroll. And if you have never felt that in your life, you just don't know what it's like.
Such a bad feeling.
When you feel it, it is horrible, right? So I've been in moments in my journey that have been in that situation. And so COVID came and I was like, we are not losing the farm in this scenario. We need to pivot. And so that pivot led us to reducing the amount of customizations we had as a company and trimming a ton of these like specialty one-off things that we would do that actually allowed us to scale and not lose our soul. Because now we weren't doing everything for everyone. It was just like, okay, we can't actually do that for you. Here's the 10 colors we can do, and here's the 5 ampersands, not the 40 ampersand colors. Yeah. And that allowed us a little bit more room to get creative later on. But I had to like trim back to scale up. And the scale up, how did we not lose the soul along the way? I mean, it's a constant battle. It is a constant battle because you're like, okay, now I have more employees. I can affect more people. I can have more reach. But you also need to make sure that you still feel that same love of like, it's Ellen that helped me get that apron. Like, I can't replicate myself a million times over. So what do? I literally, 3 months ago, I broke into our industry newsletter. And now I am personally writing newsletters for my industry audience, written by me, and then I will respond back. And people are like, is that really you? They're like, send me a selfie. And I sent a guy a selfie, and he was like, oh, it is you.
I love that.
So these are like ways that, you know, I feel like I'm still embedding my soul into the business to keep it honest and real. And by the way, I've gotten feedback from that newsletter where people are like, well, I didn't like this one thing. And I'm like, thank you for flagging that. We're fixing that for you. And I'm like helping adjust on things that maybe didn't go right.
Interesting. And it's again, that juxtaposition that you shared earlier, which is like, you're in a place where there's control and freedom. And it's like, you're finding the balance in between both when it comes to, you know, changing from 40 to 10 SKUs. And like, you're that's like that. Maybe that's that gift that you've been learning, that skill set that you've been sharpening this whole time.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'm doing the same thing right now. It's like I'm calling my best customers, and maybe it's a little bit like more narrow, but at the same time, I'm learning something on every call. And it's like, it's such a great experience because I think as you do expand, like your job, you're not serving your people, your company, or your customers if you're doing everything from the ground up. Like you have to be very specific for this to work. And it's like, that is the tough part, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Now where we're at today, this is awesome. So you're a mom of 2 little cuties, 2 little cute boys.
Little rabid raccoons.
Yeah, we love them. Okay. The time I was over at your house and I was just hanging out, I was like, wow, this is a lot of chaos for a short period of time. And he's like, Nico's in the dirt going all crazy and you're just like so calm. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I would be not so calm right now. I'm seeing as a new parent that I probably will be that calm when it happens because that's kids being kids.
Yeah.
But you got the kids, you have Casey, this awesome husband. You've been so busy. You gave back huge during COVID. Then the fires happened. We have a collaboration we're working on for, 2 years almost, that was supposed to launch that same month. We ended up turning it around and doing something for the fires and giving back to the community. And you've been able to keep that thread. And now you're on your 2nd season of your television show. And then mic drop, you decide to go back to culinary school full time. I was like, oh, when you said you're going back to culinary school, I was like, oh yeah, like once a week, you're like a guest student in the back. Like I'll just do one thing, but you're like every other student there right now?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Let's call it a personal science experiment. No, for real, I'm psyched about it. I have now been in the program for 3.5 months. 3.5 months? Yeah. And it's
been 3.5 months already?
Yeah.
I remember the text I got, hey, I need some shoes tomorrow morning. Oh, sorry, yeah, I've just got a ton of shoes.
I know. Yeah. No, here's what I love about it. It's like, I'm a student again. There's a confined space and place where I go every day and I have to be focused. And you know what it's like being in the kitchen. All you have to do is what you're doing right in front of you. And to do what you're doing when you're doing it is a gift, because I'm not doing emails in my head and trying to do 800 other things. I'm actually just 100% focused on that one thing in front of me. And it gives me so much peace and clarity personally. And simultaneously, I'm like, all these kids are young and they're like the Gen Z generation. And I'm learning and listening to my new audience. I also am like,
new slang words, new vibes.
Yeah, I'm just like, whoa, this is a whole other world. I'm like an old millennial over here who's I'm becoming the boomer. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't want to hear that.
I know. And then I also am learning else is Hedley and Bennett's missing. I'm like, oh, we don't have that tool. We need to do that. So it's like a really wonderful experiment to learn, to listen, and to be boots on the ground in an authentic way. And then I'm creating content around it because I want people to learn with me. So now we're putting that on. I'm told my team, I'm like, I want to share everything I'm learning in school on our website. So we're starting to put it on our blog.
That's so cool.
And then I'm taking it to Instagram. So at Ellen Bennett, I'm like throwing it on there. I'm like, this is what it means to brunoise. This is how you brunoise. Today we learned how to truss a chicken. Okay, cool. We're making a béarnaise. Like just these things that you learn in school, and they're pretty simple, but like if you've never learned them, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So why not bring our community along for that?
I mean, it's a dumb question, but it's not. It's like, so how do you find time to still be the owner of a business, to still be a great wife, a great parent? Like there's still so much responsibility that you have outside of this. Is it 9 to 5? What are the hours?
No, I'm there from 12 to 4, and then there's like 1 to 2 hours of homework.
So yeah, how do you, I mean, that's that. When you're as busy as you are, that's, I mean, I wake up and I work every minute till I, outside of spending time with my wife and Maya, I'm working all day. So it's like, how do you do it?
I mean, I think prioritization is a huge thing, and compartmentalizing my day is a lot of work and effort. And I do have an assistant who literally carves out my day and sends me a screenshot of my calendar every morning. So when I wake up, it's like, okay, from this time to this time, you're working on this. Here's your calls while I'm driving. I'm on phone calls every time, like one for one. And then there's time that's allotted to my kids. And then there's time that's allotted for, like, I have a monthly standing date with Casey at night that like this month turned into doing taxes, right? So that doesn't always work out. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that was really romantic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like breaking out the time. And honestly, I am really terrible at saying no to things. Like I love to do everything everywhere, and I want to dance at everyone's wedding, and I've had to stop dancing at so many weddings. I put that, sort of metaphorically. So I'm not doing everything all the time, but I do feel like I take things as they come in, I tackle them, and then it's done. I'm not like sticking it on a to-do list somewhere. I'm like, somebody needs something. I'm like, do. So I've become like a very efficient switchboarder.
Are you secretly on your phone during class or what?
No. That's the nice thing. When I'm in class, I'm like in class.
Okay.
But the minute I'm out of class, if someone's like, hey, can you introduce me to this person? I'm not like, oh, let me put that on my list to do next week. I literally do it right then and there. If I can do it in under 3 minutes, I just get it done.
Yeah.
And that does help me just like be done with it. If I spend the time to put it on a to-do list, that was already the 3 minutes it would have taken to just do the thing. So I just eliminate the task. And then the things that I feel like, okay, this is going to be a bigger project, I hand it off to my assistant. And then I literally just do it over text, which is maybe not the best system, but I'm like, add this to the to-do list. And then she goes and adds it to my to-do list. And then we're managing that by prioritization.
Well, we're at the part now where I get to do a couple things. One, I have a gift for you, but you're going to laugh because I thought, so every time I get a different shoe. However, we made a shoe together. And so it feels pretty sacrilegious to give you another shoe. And so I'm going to give you your own shoe that you made with me.
I could like make you dinner right now in full gear. By the way, I'm in full gear because I came from school and I didn't have time to change. So whatever.
Well, there you go. Assistant didn't put that in the calendar. So those are your snibs.
True.
Yeah,
Alex,
you get those.
Coming for you.
And I definitely want to make another pair of the clogs.
I
These
love
little
it.
bad boys
I
with
love
you.
it. It's so good.
And that was, that was ours.
Too bad I can't wear them at culinary school because you need to wear a black shoe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, there we go. We'll make
Thank you. Yeah, I love them.
Okay. And so now we get to the fun part where we ask the same questions to every guest.
Okay.
What are your 3 ingredients for success?
Ooh, 3 ingredients. I was like, you're going to have me cook right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Like,
It's a
give me
cook-off.
the recipe for a béarnaise. I'm like, oh, I know this one. Shallots. Okay, 3 ingredients for success. Persistence, I would say resilience, because you have to be able to like get up after you've got your ass handed to you. And then I think you have to have some like unadulterated optimism.
We share a lot of those. I would say those are 3 same things. Yeah. And it's funny because those are, like you said, they're notches on your belt that are earned and they make you just all the much stronger. But your constitution probably was pretty good for all those 3.
Yeah. Yeah. And you still have to like get up and see the sky blue. You can't see the sky gray forever.
Yeah.
Like you got to believe that you still can do more.
Now is the fun part.
Okay.
All right. Smash burger.
I thought that was the fun part.
I mean, I'm glad that you had fun doing it. Smash burger or full-size patty?
God, I love both. I honestly love a full-size patty.
You love a full-size patty. Cooked how much? Medium, medium rare?
Medium.
Medium, okay.
Yeah. Juicy.
Omakase or a la carte for ordering?
Oh, like where?
Anywhere.
Give me a restaurant.
Well, I'm not gonna give you a specific restaurant.
No, but give me which sushi spot and I'll tell you if I would do omakase.
It's just in general. Would you prefer to have the chef tasting or do you like to order?
I like to order.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry.
I like a la carte
I think almost
all day.
everyone of us have said that. There's only a few that have been like, okay, I'll go that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
Michelin.
we're control freaks.
Where's there control freaks? Plus, we also know how to read a menu. Fine wine, fine aged wine, or craft cocktail.
Ooh, craft cocktail.
Okay. Neapolitan.
Or an Arnold Palmer. God, I love
I was
an
gonna
Arnold
say,
Palmer.
you don't drink, so it's more of a non-alcoholic
I just
thing.
went to an NA wine store
Yeah.
that was beyond epic. Like it looked like an actual wine store.
Which
and-
one? The one in Venice or the one?
No, in South Pasadena. Super cool. I was like, damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So NA wine. We'll put that up.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
for you.
NA wine,
There you
yeah.
go. Neapolitan style pizza or New York slice?
New York.
New York slice. Bagel with egg or bagel with lox and schmear?
Wow, so specific.
I know.
Oh, lox was premier.
Lox or schmear. Yeah, of course. How can you not? Favorite place? Do you have one?
I mean, I love Russ and Daughters. And then what's the other one that we order from? What's the other one in New York that's like beyond epic?
Oh, Barney Greengrass?
No, it's one word and it's been there forever. And we get it for like all the high holidays.
Cats? No, but Cats has.
Yes, Cat's Deli.
But they don't do bagel and schmear, do they?
No, but they do.
Oh my God. Wait, quick story, like 1 second story. But I was living in New York for a month in between Cats and Russ and Daughters. And I was like, every day I'd walk out my house and I'd be like, which one is it going to be today? And then my wife was like, dude, we can't keep eating all this stuff. And I was like, I don't care. And then on the flight back, I got both.
I'm like, my mouth is watering.
I was like, and I ate that and the plain food. And Lisa's like, you nasty.
You're gross. Nasty.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, thank you for Snibs for sponsoring this podcast.
Thank you for driving to the West Side. And this shows true love.
I'm beyond grateful to call you a friend. I get to be a collaborator with you. We get to work with each other. We get to support each other. We were there for each other right after the fires. I mean, I just feel like this is kind of really beautiful. And I think for the viewers at home, like to know Ellen, which I know you get to know her from like sitting through this interview and just all of her stories, but she's got a really kind heart, but it's just, she has this energy that just, like you're like a whirlwind. You bring people in, and I'm really grateful that we got to spend this hour together. And make sure to subscribe, Dine and Grind. We'll share more stories like this. And yeah, thanks again.
Aw.